Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're solving a massive headache for algorithmic developers, losing critical trading data. We are mastering Chapter 24 of the MQL5 Reference, specifically the file system. If you're looking to ensure your expert advisor's data is stored securely and runs with absolute bulletproof reliability, well, you are in the exact right place. Here's our roadmap for following a file's complete lifecycle within an EA. We've got the security sandbox, folder management, the handle-based lifecycle, text versus binary formats, and finally, saving and closing files. Let's get to it. Part 1. The MQL5 Security Sandbox. So, let's kick things off with a pretty fundamental question. When your expert advisor is out there grinding, generating trade logs, calculating custom indicators, or pulling down literal gigabytes of historical price data, where exactly does all that data go? It doesn't just float off into the ether, and MQL5 certainly isn't going to let it scatter all over your hard drive. This brings us to the MQL5 Sandbox. Basically, it's a restricted file system environment that strictly limits your read and write operations to very specific terminal folders. Think of this sandbox like a highly secure bank vault. It's not some annoying limitation you need to hack your way around. It's actually a vital, built-in feature. It actively prevents malicious code, or let's be real, just a poorly written script, from crawling through the rest of your computer's operating system. You operate strictly inside the vault, period. Moving on to Part 2, folder management. Now that we're safely inside that vault, we actually have to construct our filing cabinets before we can start storing our papers, right? Before you write a single line of data, you've got to follow this exact chronological sequence. First, check if the folder exists. Second, you actively use functions like folder create to build the directory. And only then, step 3, can you populate it with files. If you just skip folder create and try to write to a folder that isn't there, your expert advisor is just going to fail to save the data. No magic trick around it. Section 3, the handle-based lifecycle. Okay, the absolute most crucial point here is this. MQL5 never lets you touch a file directly, ever. File interaction here is exactly like a coat check at a fancy restaurant. You hand over your data request, and the system hands you a ticket, a handle, to represent your file. You don't go wandering into the coat room yourself. You just present your ticket to the system whenever you need to read or write. And this number brilliantly illustrates what happens when things go wrong. If your fileOpen function fails to get that ticket, maybe the file is locked by another program or the path is just wrong, it returns the invalid_handle constant. In MQL5, invalid_handle is exactly -1. This is literally your first line of defense. If your handle returns a -1, boom, execution stops immediately. To manage these tickets, you're going to constantly rely on these core operations from the cfile class. You request your ticket with fileOpen, and crucially, when you are completely finished writing your data, you must give that ticket back using fileclose. Seriously, failing to release the handle is just a memory leak waiting to happen, and it will eventually crash your EX. Part 4, text versus binary formats. So we've got our handle. But now every developer faces a fork in the road. Do you choose text or binary? It's a stark contrast. You go with text when you need to audit a CSV log yourself or pop it open in a spreadsheet. It is made for human eyes. But you choose binary when you demand blazing execution speed and raw efficiency for the machine. Let's look a little closer at text. When you're working with text formats, you'll be using the cfile_txt class and functions like FileWriteStruct to handle standard character strings. Now, this is absolutely perfect for your daily trading logs, but keep in mind it takes a significant amount of processing overhead for the terminal to convert all your numerical trading data into readable text strings. On the flip side, for heavy-duty quantitative data, we're talking about storing millions of ticks, you really want to leverage the cFileBin class. This unlocks functions like FileWriteStruct or FileReadArray. They let you move complex, multi-layered data structures straight from your EA's memory into the file practically instantly. No string conversion overhead at all. It just dumps the exact contiguous memory bytes directly to the disk, making FileWriteStruct an absolute beast for massive data sets. Finally, Section 5, saving and closing files. I want you to seriously consider this for a second. What happens if your terminal crashes right now? I mean, right this second. A power outage, a random Windows update, the platform just freezes? If your algorithmic trading EA loses its state or fails to lock a critical trade log to the physical drive during that crash, that literally costs you money. it ruins your tracking. To prevent that kind of catastrophic data loss, you must actively lock your data to the disk. A lot of the time, the data you write is just sitting there in a temporary RAM buffer. Using the file flush function forcefully pushes that buffer out of RAM and directly onto the physical hard drive. Coupling file flush with file close to formally release your handle, that's what guarantees your data is safely persisted.
And hey, take this direct advice straight from the MQL5 reference. Always verify your handles aren't invalid before you try to save or close them. If you try to run file close on a handle that equals -1, it's going to throw execution errors and completely disrupt your program's flow. Check first, then close. So take these file lifecycle concepts, the security sandbox, proper folder create protocols, the ticket system of handles, the raw power of binary structs, and secure saving with file flush, and integrate them deeply into your logic. I want to leave you with this final thought to chew on. Will your expert advisor's data actually survive its next critical crash? Take what we unpacked in today's explainer and go build a bulletproof vault for your trading data.